In today's video, we're gonna switch things up and have a fun little conversation about the top 5 reasons why it might not be the best decision for you to invest in Pokemon. Before we jump into it, as always, we do weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is leave a like, comment down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We post pre-recorded content for you to do so each and every week, and we got 3 winners every week, so you've got multiple opportunities to both enter and win. Lastly, if you want to support the channel in any way or join the community, links are all down in the description below for our Discord or other socials, as well as our website, PokemartUSA, for any of our specialty mystery product. Now, jumping into it. So I'm actually really excited about this video. So I am very positive when it comes to the overall perspective of both Pokemon as a hobby and overall just Pokemon investing. However, I feel as if there is still a productive conversation to be had about it not being for everyone. And so in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a top 5 reasons on why some people might not look into investing, or they shouldn't look into Pokemon investing. Like I said before, I'm generally positive about it, but I still think that it's worthwhile bringing up some positive or some negative counterpoints to a lot of the conversation about Pokemon investing in general. So starting off at number 1, I think this is pretty easy for most people, and this is not in any order, but I feel like you miss out on a lot of the fun of Pokemon. What do I mean by that in particular? So when it comes to, let's say, your favorite video game, right? Or your favorite sport that you're playing when you're in high school or college or whatever it is that you have that general passion for, that you absolutely love and you absolutely enjoy. I know from my personal experience, there's been many times in my life where that passion and that love translates into a job or something that is extremely intense for me, and it no longer becomes something that I love because it really feels like a job. And some people, of course, there is that positive translation. For example, I run my own online Pokemon business and I love it and I enjoy it. But for a lot of people, it really takes away the fun side of things. It takes away that enjoyable aspect of course, collecting in Pokemon. And so when it comes to investing, for some people, it can almost feel like a job because it can be extremely time consuming when it comes to, if you're really trying to be good at being someone who knows how to properly invest in Pokemon product. Everyone wants to sit here and be like, yeah, I'm gonna just go watch my favorite PokeTubers top 5 video, top 10 video. And don't get me wrong, like, I'll give you my insider information. You're going to, of course, get a lot of knowledge out of that. But if we're being honest here, there's a lot of helpful videos that I put out, that Mason from Cardinal Gaming is a perfect example, put out, where it's only going to get like 2K views, and typically our views will get a lot higher. For him, that's nothing, and it'll be our most helpful, most informative video that we've made in a long time, put a ton of effort into it, and no one's going to watch it. Because if you really do truly care about Pokemon investing and understanding all the quick, workarounds and stuff, then you can't just click on these YouTube videos that are going to be like top 5. You have to know which content you're going to want to click on and do consistent, constant research, and not kind of going along with what the rest of the market is doing. And so for that reason, for a lot of people, it can be very time consuming. It can feel like a lot of work. And so if that's something, of course, I feel like you're not taking on a serious level, that could be a reason that really is going to just overall deter you from wanting to be a Pokemon investor. Number 2 with that, I would say another most common one, and this is more than just, investing in Pokemon, this is just investing in life, emotional decision making. So when it comes to general investments, right, for a lot of people, they can have their own financial advisors. For a lot of people, they can set up their own investment account where they have it put into a 401k or a Roth IRA. You can put it into so many different accounts, and you can do so many different indexes in the way you plan on investing. And for that reason, it's extremely easy for you to have that just set it to the side, forget it mentality when it comes to investing in stocks, when it comes to investing in mutual funds, indexes, etc., etc. Whereas with Pokemon, it's a physical product that you're consistently sitting on, you're consistently looking at. It's a product itself that, unlike the general stock market, when it comes to the volatility of the Pokemon trading card game, it can be extremely high, as we've seen with Evolving Skies, Charizard UPCs, etc., etc. So when it comes to, investing in the stock market, if you're really going to see a huge drop, like 30%, 40%, 50%, when it comes to your general investments, that's something that's going to progressively happen over the span of a couple of years. Versus Pokemon, it could be something that happens within a day because a reprint happens. And so more times than not, people will get extremely emotional when it comes to their investing decisions. They will, for example, go in on Evolving Skies at $300 a booster box, expecting there not to be a reprint, or, if we're just using historical examples, since we don't technically have confirmation yet of an Evolving Skies booster box reprint, but back when it was at $200, and people will buy it at that point, expecting there not to be a reprint, and then prices drop to $120, $130, bam, you just lost 30% in one day. So it's like, you've got these instances where people have emotional decision making, and then it causes them to not only spend a lot of time, but have a lot of stress on their plate over something that was generally supposed to be fun for them to do. Because once again, Pokemon, if it turns into your hobby into a job, and then it feels like a job where you're stressed out all the time, and then it causes you to make emotional decisions, and you're thinking about it too much in a way that then causes you to pull the trigger on things that you shouldn't be because you're FOMOing in, and then it's just an absolute cluster. All these things kind of compound on one another. And so having that kind of general mindset when going into investing can be very detrimental. And for some people, it's just not worth it, especially if it's one of those things where, it's a set it and forget it mentality. And you can still have that mentality in Pokemon. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are like, I'm just going to buy the newest booster box. I'm going to buy this newest Elite Trainer box. But obviously, if this is something that you're wanting to take to the next level on, then that's where it really comes down to, making sure you're honing in your kind of general craft and understanding when it comes to investing in Pokemon. Because, you can sit here and say to yourself, okay, well, I'm going to invest in a booster box or an ETB every set. But if you're pre-selling, Brilliant Star for 170, Evolving Skies for 170, are you really going to want to pull the trigger on that because you're looking at this as a long-term game? And for some people that makes sense. Or are you going to sit there and you're going to take literally a month or so to just wait for prices to come down when a reprint happens? Like, there's so many different emotional decisions that, could be made throughout investing in this product. And so being smart with that is something that a lot of people, really don't take into consideration, and they think it's very much just just click buy, sit on it. It takes a little bit more than that when it comes to investing in Pokemon product. Which, coming from investing in Pokemon product, one of the biggest things I would say for a lot of people is it can be extremely difficult to not only move, but store. That's another thing that I feel like a lot of people take into consideration. This is the third thing that we're having a discussion about. If you, number one being miss the fun, 2 serious, 2 emotional decision making, and then 3 storage, and of course, not being able to turn the product. I mean, when you think about selling the product overall as a whole, TCG Player, you got eBay, you got Facebook Marketplace and other places, which, don't get me wrong, you can of course sell on those places fairly quickly. But let's say a reprint happens, you made an emotional decision, you got in extremely high, and you're trying to minimize your losses as quickly as you can. Well, depending upon the product that you have, it can be either extremely difficult to move it in terms of the shipping cost, depending upon how hefty of an item is, in terms of the volume of sale for that specific item, depending upon how niche it is when it comes to your general investment, depending upon, of course, what your general margin on how much you can sell it for, how much money you're going to lose, considering the shipping fees and so on and so forth, and the selling fees. And so when it comes to the general, liquidity of Pokemon product, it can be a lot harder than, oh, look, I'm going to go sell my shares on my stock. Boom, click a button, done. Just forget about it, right? So it's just very much not as liquid, and it's going to take, once again, a lot of time for you to really be able to push through that, because you're going to have to take the product, you're going to have to keep it in good condition, you're going to have to store it properly, you're going to have to, of course, ship it sealed, make sure that it's in good condition, you're going to have to deal with, could this customer that I am selling it to be, potentially fraudulent, So many things to consider. And then of course, now on the storage side, am I storing my product in an insulated area? Yes, humidity is going to play a factor. Is there something that I can do to kind of prevent for that? If it's not an insulated area, do I have room to keep this product in an insulated area versus not? Like, there's so many other factors when it comes to storing your Pokemon product even then. And that's why a lot of people, when we have conversations about what's a better investment, booster boxes versus elite trainer boxes, even though elite trainer boxes on average yield a greater return, calculating the storage cost and the storage space to be able to store elite trainer boxes, booster boxes are a lot more ideal for most people for the reason of they just take up so much less space. And so even if you're saying from a long-term hold perspective, you're going to miss out on a couple of bucks, why is that going to matter to you if you're not going to be able to store as much product per dollar spent on your overall investment? So that's just, once again, another thing you really have to take into consideration when it comes to your overall Pokemon investing and flipping. Now for number 4, when it comes to reasons why you shouldn't invest in Pokemon product, it's because, and these are just compounding ideas that are building on top of each other. It's not something that you're investing in because you love it. It's something that you're investing in because it's just a business decision. And, this kind of ties in to missing out on the kind of, fun of the hobby, and it's more serious. But when it comes to Pokemon, collecting as a whole, I'm someone that loves Diamond and Pearl product, right? And when I buy Diamond and Pearl cards and I open the packs, or when I buy the sealed product, don't get me wrong, I always have the best price in mind for what the market is and trying to get it undervalued. But from an overall investing perspective, I do not have the intention to go in and invest in product specifically that I enjoy and try and have a wild, return on it. If I have an investment for Pokemon, I'm investing in Pokemon. And if I have just cards that I'm picking up for Pokemon, then it's just cards that I'm picking up for Pokemon. A lot of times people are very hard drawn line on, no, I'm not going to, pick up this product, because even though I would enjoy it more because I personally like it more, it's not as investable compared to some of these other things. And so it can kind of take the joy out of that. It can take the fun out of it. It can take the love out of that when it comes to overall investing. And so for, once again, a lot of people, having a way to differentiate between your general investment versus your general collection is something that can be difficult for a lot of people. So trying to determine if that's something that you can do, if that's something that's right for you, and understanding that, when it comes to Pokemon investing as a whole, it doesn't have to be taken that seriously in regards to, oh my gosh, I'm going to take every dime I have with Pokemon. This is my life savings. Stonks to the moon, long-term, 5 to 10 years. Like, no, we preach diversity for a reason. And we always have conversations about, hey, when it comes to investing in Pokemon, invest in what you want to invest in. Because at the end of the day, specifically for sealed product, a lot of these things are deflationary. They're going to go up in value over time. So if you're really that concerned about, oh, should I have invested in Lost Thunder or should I have invested in Celestial Storm? Well, if you look at the prices for the booster boxes as a whole, there wasn't really a big difference in pricing in terms of your overall investment if you got in at around the same dollar price point. And you're probably going to say, for the most part, outside of Evolving Skies and Brilliant Star, most of these booster boxes are going to be around the same price, give or take 50 to 100 bucks. So in the long term, you might think that sounds like a huge gap, but at the end of the day, if it's more fun for you to invest in something that might not do as well, then why is that, of course, going to matter once again? And then lastly, for the top 5 reasons. So once again, when it comes to reason number 1, you're missing the fun. It's too serious. Second is emotional decision making. It's draining. Number 3, it's hard to move, store. It's very time consuming. Number 4, you're not investing in what you love. And for that reason, it's just, not being able to take away the two and separate each other from the investing side and the collecting side. Number 5, this is one of my favorite reasons, and I hear a lot of people say this all the time, why they can't do it. It's because you tend to open your investments. And so for that reason, when it comes to something that you truly enjoy, opening your Pokemon product that is supposed to be a long-term sealed investment that you're setting away, having that, once again, emotional temptation to be able to resist opening, like, let's say, for example, you bought a case of Hidden Fates Elite Trainer boxes and you love Hidden Fates, it's one of your favorite sets and it's so fun to open, and then all of a sudden you go and you look at your case of Elite Trainer boxes and you say, wow, I want to crack that entire case. And then you crack that entire case and, you know, the value is not worth it for what you opened and pulled. And you're like, oh, this is so disappointing. I had so much fun doing it, but there goes my investment. I spent all this money on it, et cetera, et cetera. And so having that kind of strength and willpower to be able to not, you know, open your sealed product. And for some people like myself, I always have a system where when it comes to new set releases and reprints, I always open a set amount and then I have a set amount that I put to the side. And so being able to do that and have that kind of strength and willpower is something that works for some people, but not for everyone. So when it comes to, once again, being able to decipher what is my investment and what is for my collection or for the fun of it all, and being able to split it apart. You can still have fun with the investing side, but of course, you know, when it comes to collecting and investing, make sure that you separate the two. So ultimately, at the end of the day, making sure that you can be able to resist the temptation of opening your investments, because then, you know, your investments literally just clear up. And if they are investments that have yielded a great amount over the span of time, let's say you got in at Evolving Skies booster box for 120 and then the price shot all the way up to 300 and you're like, wow, my investment has gone up like crazy. I want to open some Evolving Skies though. It would be so fun to open, but it's too expensive. Well, I do have some of my own investment. You might say to yourself, Eli, that's crazy. Who would do that? You'd be surprised the messages I've received about people who have told me that they've opened their investments, some being for the positive, some being for the negative, where they're very regretful of it. But once again, those are the top 5 reasons on why you shouldn't invest in Pokemon product. Pretty common theme when it comes to really just, you know, making sure you're not emotional, being sure to, of course, refrain from combining the both collector and investor side. It can be done, don't get me wrong, but making sure that you can differentiate the two so that you're not getting the two mixed. And of course, still learning to have fun with it and not turning it into something where it feels more or less like a burden or a job because you're consuming so much time doing something where originally it was just for fun and now it's just become a job. But at the end of the day, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It was a fun one for me to make this list because I know a lot of people hear nothing but positive things about investing in Pokemon. So I think it's cool to be able to have a conversation about some of the downsides and why it might not be for everyone. But that is all for today's video. If you want to enter into our weekly giveaways, make sure you leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell. We've got 3 winners each and every week. And as always, if you want to join the community, check out all the links we have down in the description below. We got access to our Discord, our website, PokemartUSA for mystery pack product, and all other socials. Once again, links down in the description below. But that is all for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Until then, I will see you all on Monday. Peace.